hear about the South End this past weekend? There were some banners, anti-ownership, anti-team, saying they're not good enough, and they were forced to remove the banners, and a whole supporters group from Section 114 left.
Oh,
So
wow.
they made them remove the banners?
Yeah. And so as a result, the fans said, screw this, we're leaving.
What is this, fucking communism?
Exactly. They weren't offensive. They were very opinionated, targeted, for sure, saying, this is not good enough. This is a disgrace, which it is.
Yeah. They have every right to voice their concerns. They're paying customers, in my opinion.
Not a BMO field, apparently. It's a real problem. You start targeting those guys who are the loyalists, the guys that have been there from day one, that bring some atmosphere to a stadium that's devoid of atmosphere right now. That's a big problem.
They're so used to the NHL and certainly the NBA at games.
Who's making that decision, though? That's what I kind of, because honestly, if you're a player, tell me how you react to that. Do you even notice? Jimmy, did you have any banners at BMO? Do you look at those things and then just blow them off as I think you would?
No, you notice them. I mean, you notice during the warm-ups and that when you're coming out, you see all the banners because they're hanging behind the goal where you're warming up. But yeah, of course, look, during the game, if the fans are leaving, obviously they're disappointed with the product that's on the field. So it is the players, you got to take responsibility, the coaches, everybody within the organization have to take responsibility. At the end of the day, you're the ones that are there to entertain. And you're not entertaining. You're not doing your job at the moment. So the fans are showing their frustration.
If I was a player, I would have no problem with banners. I had plenty of banners in my career in the UK.
Yeah.
Forrest, you suck. That was a good one.
No.
Straight to the point, eh, Gregor?
You may have chanted that, Craig, but there are no banners, surely.
Yeah. Well, there's a fair few banners.
It's a dangerous pathway to go down, isn't it? I know I think in the rules, supporters groups, the club does reserve the right to remove offensive banners. I think is the language they use. But I don't mean, were they offensive? They weren't. They were just very opinionated, saying this is you shouldn't be wearing the badge. Essentially, is what they're saying.
They should be happy they showed up.
They were almost too poetic or too well written.
Yeah, if you're going to go down, fist flying.
SUX is how you're supposed to spell sucks. All right.
Right. But just to go back to your question, Sharms, about which team has more upside, I think because the bar is generally lower, I think there's a lack of ambition at CF Montreal. There's so much youth. I think they get the nod there just because there's a chance for one of these players who's been acquired, albeit maybe from Olivier Renard, maybe for Laurent Courtois. It's unclear in terms of a recruitment strategy, or whether it was Corey Ray or Luca or Simone Saputo. Like, who knows who is pulling the strings here and for whom? And then you're left with the roster where there's no real direction, but you have the youth that's integrated there, and you have a chance for one of these players to surprise. Whereas I think for TFC, deeper pockets, you might argue more ambition, maybe a little bit more efficient in their player acquisition, but a clear lack of identity. Despite all of those things, I think that maybe the nod goes to CF Montreal as having more upside.
Yeah, Jimmy, last week you said like Robin Fraser entered this with his eyes wide open. He knew what he was getting into. Is this, do you think ownership has patience here with that side of things, saying, listen, we understand, we don't expect you to win with what you have right now. Give us time to make some changes. Maybe this summer's big, for example.
Yeah, I think the summer there's got to be some changes. Look, you inherit a squad. You got players that are locked under contract. You can't move many, and you got to wait for that opportunity. And I think in the summertime they'll probably be able to make some moves and bring the players in. Obviously, if you're Robin Fraser now, you're frustrated as well with the amount of players. You've got Kerr, Etienne, Wingo, Osorio, Larea, Gavrin's out now, Monlouis. So you have so many players that are injured, and you're calling up players from TFC too to play matches for you now. So he's in a tough situation, and you got to feel for him as a manager. Yeah, you want to go in there and you want to make a difference. You want to make change right away, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. And it's like anything. Slot, obviously at Liverpool, he inherited a squad that was a championship winning team that he inherited. And 9 times out of 10, when you inherit a club, it's a team that's not doing well. they're normally rock bottom. The manager gets fired, you go in there and you've got to try to make change, but it takes a little bit of time, and you've got to be able to bring in players that you want to be able to play the style of playing philosophy that you want to implement. So he's in a tough situation. I don't think you're going to see too much change until the summer, when they can start making a few moves.
And they got that virus of Insigne walking around the club. Can't get rid of him.
It's a problem, isn't it?
Like a genital ward.
Whether he's a great guy or not is irrelevant, right? You got this anvil hanging over you.
Fucking great guy.
You can't build without it.
Yeah.
I suppose that's it, Craig, though. TFC's not in its rebuild yet. They haven't been able to start the rebuild just yet because of that. Whereas Montreal, would you call it a rebuild they're in the midst of at this point? Or, I mean, like you said, there's youth with promise, but your look there, Dubs, tells me it's not really a rebuild.
No, it's not. You have a roster again that is a couple of different people who have led there, and then it's similar to what Jimmy's saying with Robin Fraser walking in, and you're staring at a roster in front of you and key players that maybe don't fit the system that you want to play, and your hand is forced in a sense, and in a way it makes you, I think, less convinced and less likely to buy in fully, even when you're the one at the helm. You're like, these aren't the pieces that I acquired myself. So you're in it, but you're maybe not in it 100%. And CF Montreal has been doing this for, I mean, I guess Wilfred Nancy is the last time that they had some real success in 2022. And then the owner fucked that up. So, and now it looked like they had a little bit of direction with Courtois. I think Ollie was talking about this. He gets them into the wild card last year, and that saves him his job. And then Donadel comes in, and I think he's pegged from the ownership to be the next coach. But then you undermine the guy that you've given confidence to lead this team into the subsequent season. He's gone after 5 games, and now Donadel changes systems. A guy like Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, who was acquired, again, with an upside, he's loaned out to Charlotte because he doesn't fit Donadel's system. They're not playing with wingbacks anymore. They're playing with a back 4 instead of a back 3. So, I don't know if you truly have the pieces to do it. You acquire a Prince Owusu, who is not who you want to be building your offense around. Vrioni, his fitness is uncertain. So there's so many question marks. And I think it comes from ownership and it comes from leadership that publicly espouses this philosophy where they want to push players on from the academy. They don't have an MLS Next Pro team, which to me is a contradiction of wanting to double down on your youth. You don't have a place for them to truly develop and play. And that you're never really going to have success because they're not fully bought in, even for me, internally. It's just piecemeal all the time, and the fans sense that.
Empty seats, aren't there? Both stadiums.